Did your teacher tell you that your essay is not in MLA format and they lowered your grade? Does everyone around you always have their essay in MLA format, but you don't even know what's going on? Hi, I'm Dr. Clay Zuba, inventor of Zubafy. Today, I'll explain to you what MLA format looks like, how to set it up, and even how to avoid the most terrible MLA mistake ever. It might seem like having your document in perfect MLA format shouldn't be that important. I mean, after you've gone through all the trouble of researching your essay and planning your argument and writing it out and citing your sources and revising and proofreading, you would hope that your teacher or professor is going to be most concerned with the content of your ideas. And for the most part, we are most concerned with the content of your ideas. However, having your documents in MLA format gives you the opportunity to make a great first impression on your professor. And if most of the documents your teacher reads are in MLA format, if yours isn't, it's going to make a negative first impression. That impression is that if you're not going to take the time to correctly format your document, maybe you haven't taken the time to thoroughly research your argument and think carefully through your conclusions. So even if you might not feel like taking the time to make sure your document is in MLA format, it's going to pay off for you in the long run. That's why today I'm going to show you how to make your document be in MLA format. I'll show you the basic requirements, I'll show you what it looks like on a document, and I'll help you see some common mistakes that I've seen and how to fix them. I'll also show you the mistake that I and other teachers and professors find most annoying and how to avoid it. And if you can avoid annoying your teacher, you should probably do that. First of all, you need to have 1-inch margins, top, bottom, left, and right. No other size margin is acceptable. All your font should be the same. Most of your teachers will ask you to put it in 12-point times New Roman font. If your teacher has not specified for you, just put it in 12-point times New Roman font. That's the default for MLA format. Your document begins at the top with what's called a header on the top left side. That header should be left justified. It should include your name, your teacher name, your course, and the date the assignment is due. Following that, your paper should have a title. Even if your professor did not specifically tell you you have to title, you should just have a title. And it should not just be simply the name of assignment. It should be exciting, yes. Following the title, start to write paragraphs. When you begin a new paragraph, your paper should be indented again, 5 spaces. You can set all of this up as your defaults on your Google Doc, your Word doc, or your Pages. One final important remaining feature is that all your spaces should be double space. Nothing should be single space, and nothing should be double space, and nothing should have some wonky kind of spacing between it. Just keep it all double space, so everything is copacetic. Here's an example of what a document properly formatted in MLA format looks like. You can see I've got my header row, double spaced, left justified, I have a title, and I've got everything in double space following. I've got 5 space indents, and I've got 1-inch margins. This looks clean and simple to me as someone who's graded millions of essays. Notice everything is the same on my second page as the first page, except what's called the header. The header is the space on the top that has nothing in it. It's within the 1-inch margin. The header now contains my last name and the page number in the top right-hand corner. If you set up your document in MLA format, then everything is going to look pretty good already. And to me, as someone who's looked at millions of documents, I can tell immediately when a document is or is not in MLA format. And yes, even though I care most about your content, it's only human nature that if you review hundreds of documents, the ones that are not in MLA format are going to leave a negative first impression, no matter how hard we try not to have that impression. Here mistakes I see. The first mistake that I see is people putting this information that I called the header, which is your name, your teacher's name, and the course and the date, in the actual header of the document. Don't do that. If you put it in the actual header of your document, for one thing, you're going to be inside the 1-inch top margin. For another thing, it's going to show up on every page of your document, and you're going to look silly. The second major mistake is not having the right spacing in the header row. For some reason, a lot of my students like to make the header row single-spaced. Sometimes they also like to put multiple spaces between either the header row or the title and their first paragraph. Again, I do not understand why. Perhaps the final mistake, and for me, this is the most annoying mistake, even though it seems like the smallest one, is having more than one space in between your paragraphs. Ah! 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 That's a good baby. That's a baby girl. In a way, this is the smallest mistake because you basically never do it on purpose. It usually ends up being in your word processing software's defaults for some reason. Look for the extra space. Can you see it? I see it. I can see it immediately. It's between the word Americas and between the word in, between the first paragraph and the second paragraph. It may seem small, but it's definitely there. You can tell looking between the other sentences and the space between the paragraphs. Let me show you how to fix that problem with the spaces, as well as how to set up margins. I'm going to do it first in Google Docs, then in Word. If you're using Pages, you're out of luck because I do not know Pages. You'll have to Google that. Let me show you how to fix this small problem with the spaces in between the paragraphs, in case you're not sure how, because it's going to drive you nuts. I'm going to highlight this spot that I know has this terrible extra space in between paragraphs. And I'm just going to go to Format, Line and Paragraph Spacing. And oh my gosh, you can see from here that I have an extra space after the paragraph because I have the option to remove the extra space after the paragraph. I'm going to remove it. And oh my gosh, it's so beautiful now. It's magnificent. I would have to do this for every spot in my document that has the extra spaces. If you know that you have extra spaces throughout your whole document, just highlight the whole thing and reformat that extra spacing. That's also where you would go if you want to set your document to double spacing and it's not double spaced. It's also where you go if you need to alter where the page numbers are or anything like that. If you want to do something with the margins, say your margins are wrong, you go to File, Page Setup. This is where you can set all the margins for your document. Do yourself a favor. After you've changed them once, just save this as the default. And if you need to change the defaults for your line spacing between the paragraphs, you just go to Format, Paragraph Styles, Options, and then Save as my default styles. Now, everything that is here, including your spacing and your font and the spacing in between paragraphs, is going to be saved in Google Docs this way. This will be your default when you open your documents next time, and you won't need to worry about it ever again. If you're in Word, you want to go to Layout, and then this area that says Paragraph. Click this button, this small button, this arrow that says Paragraph Settings. Click on it, and you can see it's opened up now. And, ooh, what's this? I don't like that. Line spacing should be double throughout. And one thing you want to make sure is you click this button that says Do not add spaces between paragraphs of the same style. If you click that, you'll never have extra space between your paragraphs. If you need to set up your margins, oh, I can set this as my default too. Yes. Ooh, my gosh. I can set it for all documents based on this template. Yes. Then I'll never need to worry about this again. If you need to change your margins, you just go to where it says Margins up on the top left and set your margins to normal. So your document is normal, like everybody else's. Sometimes individuality is great, but not in MLA format. Just do it right. And one final thing, did you see the problem on my Word document? My header is messed up. I need to highlight this and I need to move this top triangle to the left so it's even with the small triangle. No, not there. Even. Yes, just like that. Sometimes you have to play with these little tabs on the top because those are special margins that you've set throughout the document. And that's how you get your document in MLA format correctly. I hope this video has helped you understand how to put your document in MLA format and understand the requirements. MLA format might seem like the last thing you want to think about when you're done with a long essay, but just get it right and do it. It'll help you in the long run. It'll make both you and your professor happy. Thanks for watching Zubafy. Come back for more Zubafy.